Well, Sister Eber's going to switch it up. Instead of jumping up on the word sunbeam, we're going to sit down. Sounds easy, but I promise you, somebody's going to do it wrong. Are you ready? Let's do it together. Jesus wants me for a sunbeam to shine for him each day. We're wiggling, ladies. In every way try to please him. At home, at school, at play. Buckle your seatbelts, here we go. A sunbeam, Jesus. It's okay, girls, it's okay. A sunbeam, I'll be a sunbeam for him. How many of you had to think for a minute? Yeah, you had to think for a minute. Sorry, girls, sorry. I did it in heels, honey. Woo! I'm going to take a drink of water after that.
I can do it when I'm 83. You guys can do it.
That's right. I just had my birthday last week. I'm 40 Eve. That means I'm 39. But 39 is so boring. Why would you be that when you could be 40 Eve? I mean, really. It's on the horizon. I know it's coming. It's like a storm. I can just see it heading my way. 40 is the new 20, but I'm not nearly as cool as I thought I would be at this age. So, I was able to take a song that everybody knows, that your senior primary kids are going to tell you is boring and a baby song. And I did it in a way you should have seen. All of you were smiling. All of you were paying attention. All of you were trying to get up and down. The effort was there, and you get points for effort. So please, when you're looking at that, branch out, fall back. Have a good set of songs. It doesn't have to be my set, although my set is pretty good. But it doesn't have to be my set. Find something you're comfortable with. So if your primary president looks at you and goes, I finished sharing time 5 minutes early. Can you just sing with them? Sure! Let's do Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam, because it happens. It does happen. So you need to have your fallback songs. Yes, ma'am?
I used to do a combination, an activity song that quieted down. Think of dues I'm doing, choose 3 or 4 kids, and the last one I'll do.
Yes.
I'm being reverent and sing softer. By the time they've done that, then they're ready for sure.
I'm also a big fan of the Roll Your Hands song, where they get to roll it really fast, and this is how they do it. They look at you like this, and then you fold your roll your hands. I don't remember if it's fast or slow first. Yeah, and then at the end, then fold your arms like me, fold your arms like me. So that's what I do. Now, my last one for you is, what is your favorite primary song? This takes time. Depending on how large your primary is, this is going to take you effort. Get a stack of 3x5 index cards, and on the very first day that you're teaching primary music, give them. It's going to be senior primary, you can give them to the kids. Junior primary, you're going to need to give them to the teacher. Ask the teacher, write every child's name on one index card and their favorite primary song. Teachers, I want you to do it too. Primary presidency, I want you to do it too. Then you collect all those cards. And like I said, I did it when I had 120. And I took them home and I laid them all out. And I wrote down that Jimmy and Joey and Cindy and Sister Harris's favorite song was I Love to See the Temple. So then next Sunday when I needed to pick an opening song, today for opening song, we're going to do Jimmy and Joey and Cindy and Sister Harris's favorite primary song. It's I Love to See the Temple. And then for closing song, we're going to sing Kathy's favorite song, which is Give Said the Little Stream. Not only am I branching out, but I've suddenly made those children realize, guess what? I know your favorite song. And I care enough about you that we're going to sing it just for you. And I'm going to mention you by name when we sing it. 20 of your kids this year are going to tell you Gethsemane is their favorite song. They're going to tell you. My mother-in-law's in the room. Her brother wrote Gethsemane. It's a beautiful song, but it's been sung a lot this year. It's been sung a lot. But when you do that, it's going to take a lot of work on your part, depending on how big it is. You got to collect those index cards, you got to read them, and you got to keep a track of all of it. But by making that little effort, every single one of those little primary kids is going to feel like you care about them. All of a sudden, you're the rock star that cares, and they're going to love that. Do it for the teachers, too, because the only thing that gets little baby children excited is when their teachers do things. So we're going to jump right into, I talked to you about temple cards already. we're going to jump right into a primary lesson. So we just did our wiggle song, which was Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam. So our next song that we're going to do is I Hope They Call Me on a Mission. I am not a visual artist. I am a performing artist. So yes, I freehanded these. And yes, I'm aware that he looks very large, and she's slightly petite, but hey, so am I. So we're going to sing I Hope They Call Me on a Mission. And I'm just going to start. I hope they call me on a mission when I have grown a foot or two. I hope to be a missionary. Oh, there you go. To teach and preach and work as missionaries do. I sang the wrong words, but their legs came out on time. This idea, I didn't want to tell you what I was about to do because half the fun is the surprise. But my primary children will tell you they love when I pull out the missionaries. They love it. Here's what I did. I'm going to show you so you can see it. Basically, I made him as his own thing. And then I made legs. And there's a wider part here at the top. My duct tape started to come off, so I ended up using packaging tape. And he just slides. When I have grown a foot or two. And he grows a foot or two. I did not come up with this on my own. I am not that creative. You will find a pocket-sized version in the Friend, July of 2008. This is what they printed out. Is a little pocket size. I just made that baby life size. For a sunbeam, this is probably life size.
Which friend is that?
This is the Friend, July of 2008. It's called Missionary Activity. The temple cards I use all came out of the Friend, but you will need to look under multiple issues. I think they did all 1 year, and then as they kept adding temples, they added them every couple of issues. So check the Friend for the temple cards, and the missionaries is from the July 2008. These are a fan favorite. I'm not going to lie. The kids love them. I kind of love them too. And I'll tell you something else that's exciting about these. When you think of, oh my goodness, that's a lot of effort to put into that, my activity day girls, for their faith in God, they needed a service project. Guess what? Sister Eber has to make 120 maraca eggs and color some missionaries. Get ready, girls. Have I got service for you? And they're coloring and doing stuff with you. So not only am I incorporating my activity day girls, but guess what? When we sing those missionary songs and I stand up with that, I guarantee your activity day girls are going to go, that's the one I colored. You like his tie? I did that. They do. They do. They can't help it. They love it. So there's our missionary song. There's our opening song that we did. Hello songs. Again, this is something I took off of somebody else's blog. I did not do this myself. I tried to branch out on the hello song, girls. I really did. But I don't know if you've noticed, but all those hello songs are hard to learn, and they're not nearly as fun as the hello one that everybody sings all the time, and we get to shout at the very end. And sometimes we sing Jello, which only makes Sister Eber turn bright red, and she doesn't like it.
They do it.
But they do it anyway. So I came up with a really cool thing. My husband served a mission in Spain. So I printed off a Spain flag, and on the back I wrote, Hola, for hello in Spanish. I took German in high school, so I printed off a German flag. It's Guten Tag, or Hallo, but that's not nearly as much fun. A member of our ward served in France. Bonjour. Japanese, my pianist hates when we do Japanese because all of a sudden she has to go from hello, which is 8th notes, to konnichiwa, which is 16th notes. But you can do it, I promise. Italy, we had a member of our ward who served in Italy. Bonjour. Our bishop at the time served in Russia. Bishop, how do you say hello in Russian? Privyet. All of a sudden we have Privyet. So when it came time, I also had Korean and China on there. What I did was I found primary teachers, presidency members, bishopric members, men in our ward. Did you serve a foreign speaking language? Do you know how to speak a foreign language? How do we say hello in that language? Then I found the flag, printed them off. I already warned you about my laminating habit. I carry them with me. Then somebody's visiting, pick a card. We're going to sing hello song in that card. And that's how we sing it. We do not sing any of the rest of it. in another language. Guten Tag, Guten Tag, Guten Tag, Guten Tag. We welcome you today in English. The only one we're replacing is hello. Really cool things happen when you do that. Guess what? Primary children go home, and when mommy and daddy are talking to them at lunch about what happened in primary today, Daddy, did you serve a mission? What language did you speak? Oh, cool, Dad. We sang it in this language today. All of a sudden, they're taking what you taught them, and they're taking it home, and they're using it, and they're using it to connect with their parents. Hey, let's call Grandpa and see if he serves anything. It opens it up. It makes primary singing time so much more than a crazy lady standing in front of them in heels making them bounce up and down. All of a sudden, there's something to connect with people. It's just a great way to do it. Now, I'm going to go very quickly because I have 10 minutes. I can do it, girls. All right. Maraca eggs. Now is your time to shine, ladies. You reach under that chair and you get that Maraca egg. And here's the fun thing about the Maraca eggs. You get to take them home. Oh, yeah. I'm the presenter that gives gifts. Now, you will have to tell your primary children when you give them. Does everybody have them?
We have an extra.
You keep it. I am. So, here's some things that you're going to need to warn before you give the children their their Maraca eggs. They are not to be eaten. You are not to tear the tape off of them. Now, remember I told you I had 120 kids. My husband was not going to allow me to buy 120 Maraca eggs. He loves me, but not that much. So, here's what I did. Easter sale. Week after Easter, I walk into Walmart when they got everything 75% off, and I buy me a bunch of plastic Easter eggs. I go home. I used to use rice, but if you notice on your eggs, some of them have little holes, and so I was plugging up all the holes because, yes, it did happen in the middle of primary. Somebody broke their egg open, and there were rice grains all over the floor. And yes, the primary presidency looked at me to be the cleanup. I also used, this time for yours, I used beans. The beans make it a little louder. This is beans. It's a little bit louder. The rice is a little bit of a softer sound, but they spill. And beans can spill too. So you need to tell your primary children, one, don't eat them. Sunbeams have to be told that. Some 11-year-olds have to be told that. Don't tear off the tape because they will break. Your primary kids do not get to keep these. These stay in the primary room in a bucket. Here's rule number 1 that gets said on a regular basis. And I should have told you before you opened yours up because I know someone was going to do it. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Tough. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And remember I told you a little bit ago, little Johnny ended up crying in primary because Sister Eber took away his egg, and that was because he was shaking his egg while she was giving instructions, and that really makes her mad. And so little Johnny became Nixie. I went into my mom voice again, didn't I? So, here's what you do. They get their eggs. This is what you're going to do. Yes, I'm about to look like a loon. That's okay. I left my dignity at the door. Are you ready? We're going to get 10 seconds for you to shake that egg as much as you want. And when I get to 1 and stop, your egg goes in your lap. Anybody who does not have their egg in their lap quietly loses their egg. Are you ready, ladies? Here we go. You have a count till 10. And yes, this is how I do it. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your lap. I better not see that egg or hear that egg until it's time. Immediately, I made an idiot of myself. But they had fun. And they were paying attention. And they knew as soon as I said stop, stop. Not only was I, okay, now stop. No, it was a very physical thing. You could tell. It's very physical, but it gets the point across. She really wants us to be still. She really wants us to be quiet with those eggs. Here's what we're going to do with the eggs. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to explain it to you. Remember I told you what's the number 1 thing with teaching songs? Repetition, repetition, repetition. So we decided that we're going to do, what song did I write now? I have a family here on earth. We're going to sing that song. We're going to take out the word family. Every time we sing the word family, instead of singing family, you're going to shake your egg. I have a here on earth. They are so good to me. I want to share my life with them through all eternity. Get ready. And be together forever in Heavenly Father's plan. I always want to be with my own. Oh, somebody did it! And the Lord has shown me how I can. The Lord has shown me how I can. Guess what? We're going to repeat it. This time we're going to take out family and I. Have a here on earth. They are so good to me. Want to share my life with them through all eternity. You get the point, right? You're going to have somebody who accidentally sings it. Most of the time, it's a primary teacher, and you can rib them and give them as much grief as you can. You tease them, and it's all good and fun. And before you know it, you've taken out 5 words, and everybody has, they're going crazy. But guess what? You've just done the song 5 times, and they're not complaining. And they're paying attention to the words. They are learning that song so good, you're going to wake up singing it in your sleep. It's a really fun and amazing thing to do. When I first did this lesson, we had one little girl, the pianist, came to me and she said, last weekend I was driving Catherine somewhere, and she said, Mom, let's sing a primary song and pretend to take out words. As they were driving. It became something that they did. It is a great go-to lesson. It requires no prep on your part. Keep the eggs in your primary closet. You get called to sub for the last minute. You pull those babies out and start taking songs out, or words out. Let them pick what words they want to take out. It becomes a great thing. And it's inexpensive to make. The next one that I'm going to show you is, and I should tell you, the tape that I used, I forgot to tell you, they're this fancy little, what they call it, washi tape or whatever that you can get at Walmart. Super easy, super cheap, nice to make. This is my go-to Maraca egg bag. Yes, I have a go-to bag because I make them all the time. My next one is the headbands game. This is another great one to do with the kids if you want to go over words. This was from a child's prayer. I sent a child out into the hallway so they didn't know. And I showed all my primary kids this word, prayer. Then we bring that child in and I put the headband on. They cannot see what the word is. And we sing, Heavenly Father, are you really there? And do you hear and answer every child? Some say that heaven is far away. Can you guess what song or what word we took out? And then if they can't, you give them a hint. It's adjustable. This actually comes from the headband game, but you can make these. I mean, just grab a piece of construction paper, adjust it to your head, and put some tape on there. Headband game. It's a great one. They love it. Again, you're taking out words, and you guys are saying, why are we taking out words? We're trying to teach them all the words. They're paying attention. You take those words out, and they're paying attention to it. Yes, ma'am?
For junior, I get to do a picture. Or you get a word too, but...
You can do a picture as well, yep.
Yeah, a lot of the songs this year lend themselves to that.
Yes.
My Heavenly Father loved me. Lots of pictures.
Right.
When I'm baptized, had lots of picture words.
My next one is a music note, hot and cold. You all have seen this before where you tape a note somewhere and they sing the song, and as they get closer to the thing, they get louder. We did a really cool thing 2 weeks ago, my primary presidency. I did it to the primary presidency because I can pick on them and know they won't hate me. I sent one of them out into the hallway, and then I took it and I stuck it to the back of my shirt. And so when she came in and she starts walking toward me, they're getting louder, And so I take a step over. All of a sudden, the kids are getting quieter. And she's looking around, where do I go? And then as she's trying to figure out where it is, I walk closer and the kids get louder. We had a good 10 minutes where we were going. Everybody was rolling laughing. We sang that song so many times, and everybody was having a good time doing it. And I'll tell you what, it was so much fun in junior primary. The primary presidency members were begging me to do it to the senior primary teachers so they could experience it. It's a fun one. I am going to share with you my mother's tears because this is great. You will get the occasional sister that has put a lot of work into her hair on Sunday. And so she does not appreciate this. But my male teachers and my kids love it. When you sing a child's prayer and you do a really beautiful job, You make your moms cry.
Oh.
And do I spray children with a water bottle? Yes, I do. Do I spray the teachers with spray bottles? Yes, I do. Look, she covered her glasses. Yeah, those with glasses don't like it. And then when the teachers start yelling at me, Sister Eber, that's not fair, I say, okay, make me cry. It's raining, and my glasses are wet. It is a crazy, ridiculous, silly thing to do in primary, but they love it. And you're teaching them how to sing in a way that's reverent and special. Ah! Okay, real quick, let me show you this. We did the chapel doors. Remember I told you I love it? This is going to get giggles. You're going to have to bring them down to reverent level after this is over with. The chapel doors seem to say to me, for this is a reverent place to be. Be still. We gather here. You get the idea? Every little kid wants to be the chapel doors. It's down there. I just didn't show you a picture of the cutout. And you will notice you are going to have to adjust how big you want your head to be. It's a great one. Kids love it. Lastly, when you're reviewing for primary program, these are just real quick. The battleship game is awesome. I have one side for junior primary. My back side is senior primary. I shouldn't have said my back side. The back of this side is senior primary. You'll notice, so it has Post-it notes. I pick a child. Pick a song. I'm going to say B3 because I know it's there. I pull it off. There's my battleship, and it actually has one of the songs that we've been learning for the primary program. Let's practice Follow the Prophet. Then sometimes they get a blank. Well, there's a blank under there. Sometimes they get a star, which is free choice. They get to pick what one they want to do. This is a great way to rehearse songs. The Song Hospital is the last one. You do not have to go all out like this. You can just do something small. But in this, it says Primary Song Hospital. In the waiting room, you have all the songs you've been practicing in primary for the program. You sing the song. You have a diagnosis sheet. Sometimes you pretend to be the doctor. You can bring in the bishop to be the doctor. You can bring in your husband to be the doctor. I don't care who your doctor is, just pick one. And then you're going to write the song name, the date, and he evaluates your patient. Volume, melody, words, smiles, watching the chorister. If they get 4s and 5s, that song gets discharged from the hospital. If that song gets 1s and 2s, it gets sent to the emergency room. And guess what song you're practicing next week? The emergency room ones. All of these things that I've given you, as you can tell, I don't do things by halves. If I'm going to do a calling, if I'm going to do a responsibility, I do it with 110% of my ability. My husband will tell you that I usually go home and nap after I've taught primary. But I can tell you, and I'm going to close with my testimony so that you know, I have worked in a musical setting in an elementary school. I have worked in a music setting in a primary class. I am touched by music. The Lord speaks to us through music. It's not by chance that he told Emma Smith to make a hymnal. It's part of the Doctrine and Covenants. It's part of the scriptures. And there is nobody more important that needs to learn music and be spoken to through music than children. Have fun with it. Don't feel like you have to go in and be really responsible. You shake your little egg and you do whatever you got to do to get your point across. They will love you. They will love what you're teaching them, and you will love them, and they will learn it. I promise you that. I testify that to you. If you teach it with your heart the way I teach, they will love it. They will love you. They will learn it. I promise you that. I know it. I've seen it happen. And I leave that with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.